A very good evening to all my dear students. Once again, on behalf of ICAI, I welcome you for today's session. And we are going to start the second class of the important topic, that is Chapter 3, Prospectus of a Company. A very warm welcome to all of you, and I hope you have revised. We have started with a very important and technical topic. Good evening, Soumya. Good evening, Priya Mishra, Rajveer Roy, all those. All right, Garima, not to worry. Good evening, Garima. Priyanka, all of you, Almaz, Harsh, Anup Kumar, Deepika, Shailaja, Priya Mishra. Yes, definitely, Priya Mishra. We are going to have a recap of the last class, and I'm going to ask you questions, and you will be answering me. This will help me knowing how well my students have revised and studied. Rihana, Anurag, Saroj, Samriti, Shalini, all of you children, a very good evening. All right. So I will be taking up your doubts also, and I will be asking you questions also, because I'm sure you all are my good students and you have revised what we have done in the previous class. So we have started with the chapter Prospectus, in which we had a detailed discussion about what is a public offer. Only a public company can go for a public offer. And there are three types of public offer: IPO, FPO, and OFS, along with rights issue and bonus shares. But a private company can only go for private placement, rights issue, and bonus shares. So, my first question to the class is, can a public company also go for a private placement? So, I told you private placement is section 42, which we'll be doing in detail later on. But as of now, tell me one thing, can a public company also go for private placement? Yes, ma'am. Public company can also go for private placement. So yes is the correct answer. So all of you geared up. But can a private company go for a public issue? Yes, Priyanka, excellent. Both the companies can go for private placement, but private company can never go for public issue. Soumya, Samriti, Deepika, all of you, Rajveer, excellent answers, children. Kirubha, new student name, Ananya, Shailaja, Deepika, and Dhanush. Good children. All right, don't worry, students, those who have addressed the query related to Zoom. So it's okay. We will try to change the app. So don't worry about that. Okay. Yes, only private placement, bonus and rights is allowed. Harshman, absolutely correct. The three are allowed for the private company. That's correct. All right. Now, children, since we have started the chapter and we had a basic discussion of how the public issue happens, how the offer of securities is made, what is the meaning of the word IPO and FPO? We have understood these things in the previous class. We have understood certain definitions. So IPO is the initial public offer when the capital is being raised from the public at large. It is done through the public offer, and the advertisement is given to the public that please come and buy the shares in my company. Now, when you're inviting the public to take up the shares in the company, we have done two different sections. One was section number 25, which is known as dash prospectus, and one was section 28, which is known as, you will tell me what is section 28. So one is IPO, in which you are giving an initial public offer, you are directly going to the public. One is FPO, which is a fellow public offer, in which you have a subsequent offering of shares made to the public. So there was a term used, OFS, which we understood as a part of section 28. What is the meaning of OFS? Can anyone tell me? What do you understand by the term OFS, offer for sale? Offer for sale. So offer for sale means offer for sale will be Ajit sir, can we remove Ekta from the The student name Ekta needs to be removed from the participant list.
It's already leave, ma'am.
Okay, just block that person. All right. So it's sent to an existing shareholders. Very good. No, no, no. Anubhav. Existing shareholders want to sell their shares to the public. So they go to the company and they tell them that we are in need of money. We want to sell off our securities. OFS means offer of sale for securities to the public. So we are not selling the securities directly. We go to the public. Instead of going to the public, we tell the company. So this is the kind of structure that you have in OFS. There is a promoter or a director of the company that goes to company, and the company is further going to sell their shares to the public. So the promoter and director will sell shares to the company, and company will sell it further to the public. So you can make these short diagrams in your chapters so that you remember and you learn it. It becomes easy for you. So promoter go and sell the shares to the companies. Shares are sold, money is received, and now they're going to sell it further to the public. And what was the second important point in OFS? Whatever expenditure is incurred by the company, it will be reimbursed by that respective shareholder. So this is what we understood in OFS. Let's have a quick recap. Where is OFS? We have started with section 28 provision because we did this last section when we completed. So any member who wants in consultation with board of directors, they can offer the shares to the public. They will go to the company. They will tell them that please sell my shares to the market. Is there any share capital changing? Additional capital is not bought. Only the shareholder pattern is changing over here. And all the reimbursement of the expenditures will be done by that respective member. Now, this document through which OFS is made shall also be deemed to be a prospectus. हमने पिछली बारी दो deeming provisions पढ़ी थी, एक section number 25 में जो कि deemed prospectus है, एक section 28 में जिसको deemed मान लिया जाता है. जैसे ही आप ऑफर करोगे सिक्योरिटीज पब्लिक को सेल करने के लिए, तो इस डॉक्यूमेंट को deemed document मान लिया जाएगा for the prospectus. And what happens when it becomes a prospectus? Section 27 contents of the prospectus, section 34, 35 liability, all of them become applicable to this respective document. But there were 4 things in which OFS is not applicable. What are those 4 things? Minimum subscription, minimum application value, provisions related to board of directors for utilization of money. It says whatever money has to be utilized by board of directors. Is the company getting the money by selling the securities here? The company is not getting the money. कंपनी थोड़ी ना अपने शेयर्स बेचकर मनी दे रही है, ये तो शेयर होल्डर के पैसे थे, उसने मेंबर ने शेयर्स अपने सेल करे. So we don't need to make any utilization money because this money will be given to that respective shareholder. Any other information which cannot be gathered by the offerer, justification has to be given. And whosoever is the name of person bearing the cost of offer for sale has to be disclosed in the prospectus, that who is this person who is offering the securities. Now you'll ask, now what is minimum subscription, minimum application value? Section number 39, when we do, we understand that 90% of the money has to be subscribed. When you received application money, children, you remember your chapter of share capital and debentures, which you used to do in accounts? That time you have learned application money, allotment money, first call, second call. You remember? So you do these kind of questions. So what is that application money? At least 5% of the share money should have been received as the application money. So it is a 10 rupees share. So 5 rupees, if I'm saying 5 rupees, 5%, 5 rupees should have been received during that time. So these kind of provisions are understandable when we try to understand section number 39, we do this in detail, but OFS में ये सारी provisions applicable नहीं है. Okay, on OFS it is not applicable. Now let's have a quick recap of the other topics also. We have done the MCQs. Where were the questions? So till section 28 we have done, right? So who shall now, and what was section 25? Tell me quickly. We have revised section 28. That was for OFS. Many of you had doubts in this. I hope now it's clear. What was section 25 and who will be signing the deemed prospectus? Answer. Deemed prospectus. Two directors. Very good, Shelja. Almas, excellent. And above, minimum two directors. If it is a company, then minimum at least two directors have to sign it. And if it is a partnership firm, then that issuing house, if it is a partnership firm, then 50% of the partners shall be signing the deemed prospectus. Excellent. And what is the meaning of deemed prospectus? When I'm not going directly to the, I'm a company, their promoters were selling the shares. Now the company is going to the issuing house and it tells them that, look, we don't want to go to the public because, you know, when we go to the public, we'll be complying section 26. हमें 34, 35 की liability भी देखनी पड़ेगी, तो बहुत सारी चीजों का ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. So better है कि हम अपने shares आपको दे देते हैं issuing house, आप हमारे शेयर्स जाकर पब्लिक में सेल कर दो. अब यहां पे कंपनी ने क्या सेल करा है? शेयर्स. कंपनी को क्या मिला है? मनी. Have they received full consideration? So there were two conditions in order to call this document when you're going to the public a deemed prospectus. That whole of the net consideration should not have been received, or the securities have been offered within 6 months to the public. Then this document through which these securities are being offered to the public, this document will be known as deemed prospectus. And all the provisions of section 26, 34, 35, everything will become now applicable to this document. So company is trying to protect itself from all these provisions, but actually it will have to follow them. Yes, very good, Priya Mishra. Issuing house will sell the shares to the public. Excellent. All right. Can the prospectus, so everybody's clear about deemed prospectus? Any doubts in deemed prospectus? We have done it in detail. Last time also we revised also, and now we have done a quick revision also. So you have answered the correct one, the first question. Now the second question is, can the prospectus be signed by majority of directors, true or false? So we have done all the contents of the prospectus. We have done all the contents of the prospectus, that is section 29, 26, I'm sorry, all the contents of section 26. And now we have understood section 27 also, but there was a question related to section 26 that who shall be signing this thing? All the directors or only majority of the directors? Shelja, now I can see your answers because so many things again and again. See, somebody is just trying to create a disturbance in the class. So let's keep ignoring and let's keep concentrating on the topic. All right. Yes, excellent, Harsh, Deepika. Anrudhi, very good. That is false because all the directors needs to be signed, even the proposed directors. So another point, can a duly authorized attorney is a lawyer who is a practicing lawyer, can he also sign a prospectus? Yes, ma'am. An attorney can also sign the prospectus. So all the directors, including your proposed directors and an attorney, can also sign the prospectus. Very good. Excellent. What shall be disclosed on the face of prospectus? So it's very difficult to revise entire section 26 again. So I'm just going to ask you simple questions out of it. So what shall be disclosed on the face of prospectus? What all you're going to disclose on the face of prospectus? There were two important things that needs to be disclosed on the prospectus. Let me see the students who are answering on the portal also. Yes, Julie Kumari, Mosmu Kumari, all your answers are correct. Kevin, good. So on the face of the prospectus, two things needs to be included. What are those? That it has been filed with ROC, excellent, and the list of documents which you have attached with the prospectus. All those things should be included on the face of. Copy has been delivered, good, Priyanka, but then you have to tell the list of documents also. So both attached documents included. So this list has to be given. कौन-कौन से documents आपने attach करे, कौन सी financial positions? Ayush, Johan, very good. All of you have answered it correctly. Yes, it should be dated, signed. All the other points have to be seen. But specifically, the answer for the third one was that it has been delivered, a copy has been delivered to the ROC, and what are the list of documents that has been attached. Prospectus is valid for how many days? So if I have come out with a prospectus, I want to issue it to the public. For how many days it's a valid prospectus once I have filed it with the ROC? 30 days, 40 days, 60 days, or 90 days. Oh my God, Prem Kumar, Shalini, Ananya, Shifa, all of you, Bhumika. Correct answers. 90 days is the correct answer. What are the conditions for deemed prospectus? I have just discussed with you. You can answer me the fifth question also. All of you quickly. What are the conditions for deemed prospectus? What are the conditions for deemed prospectus? So it's good the teacher get a chance to take your test when we're doing a quick revision. And also it helps me in telling me that how well you have revised it. Okay. All right. Good. Within 6 months, not full money received. Excellent. What is the difference between IPO and FPO? IPO is initial public offer and FPO is a fellow public offer in which you are making the offer to the security subsequently. Now comes the seventh question. We have revised section 23, 24 में सिर्फ यही लिखा हुआ है कि SEBI is going to give all the guidelines related to listed companies. 25 was deemed prospectus. We have done the revision. 26 relates to contents of prospectus. We have also done a very important question based on that last time. And section 28 also OFS हमने class शुरू करते ही revise कर लिया था. Only one section revision was read. Can anyone tell me what is the name of that section? Section number 27 that deals in variations in prospectus. So here comes your direct question from the study material. How can we make a variation in prospectus? First of all, can we make any variation in the prospectus? Yes, ma'am, we can make. Is it possible to do any variations? Yes, ma'am, we can do the variations. Yes, we can do the variations in the prospectus. It is possible to make I have made the prospectus that I am coming up with a big construction company I'll be setting up. And now I want to change my object clause. So if I am changing my objective through which I have issued my prospectus, it is very important to tell the investors that what is my now perspective, why I am changing, what are the reasons for my variation. Then what kind of resolution needs to be passed? Is it an ordinary resolution, special resolution, or a board's resolution is required? Tell me quickly, what kind of resolution will be required? It is a special resolution. And what will be the method of passing that special resolution? By the postal ballot, we will be passing that special resolution. Advertisement has to be given in two different newspapers. Yes, one in the English newspaper and one in the vernacular newspaper. Very good. Excellent, children. You all have answered it correctly. And was there anything else regarding the dissenting shareholders? हमने समझा था जो नाराज shareholders होते हैं जिनको पसंद नहीं आ रही हमारी variations, फिर हम क्या करेंगे? It is said that dissenting shareholders will be given a chance to make an exit offer. So suppose they have purchased the shares at rupees 10. And now on the exit date, the share price has fallen down to rupees 8. So how many shares they have subscribed? If they feel that now I'm not happy with this variation, I don't want to continue with this company. I just wanted to do it when it was doing the construction business. So they want to exit, they want to leave the organization, they can. And now the price is rupees 8. Whatever shares they have taken up at that 8 rupees price, they will be allowed to leave the company. Clear? Yes, Pramar, Kevin, all those who have sent the great answers. Good children. Julie, Kumari, all of you. Offer will be given to the dissenting shareholders that they can leave the organization by the promoters. And also rule 7, it was said that there was one PES, one form, only one form we have discussed till now. This is the advertisement that you're giving, how much money was raised. Whenever you want to pass the SR, you have to send the notice. This notice will go along with PES1 form. It will be published and it will also be placed on the website that how much money was raised, how much money has been used, what is the risk factor for the new objectives, everything you have to tell. See, children, prospectus, I told you last time also, it's a very, very important document. Why we call this topic a very important topic? Because, children, this topic of prospectus is actually linking us directly to the economy of the world. Okay? So what are you doing when you're investing in these shares? You have your certain saving of the money in house, and now out of those savings, you are buying shares in a company. And when you buy shares in a company, the share prices fluctuate, and that corporate sector is either progressing or decreasing, whatever is happening. But the economy is, what is the economy? The companies, the corporates are contributing towards the economy of country. So now when you invest your money in these shares, and that share money is being utilized by the corporate, so that means you're directly contributing towards the world, towards the economy, towards the progress, when you take up all these kind of shares. So when you want to buy the shares, you want to give your money to any kind of stock exchanges or directly to the company. Now, when you buy the shares in stock exchange, that is the second market from where you buy the goods. But when you buy directly the money shares from the IPO, that is the primary market. When the company has come up with the initial public offer that now I am declaring my IPO, I'm coming out with an IPO, you want to buy the shares in my company, please subscribe to my security. So that IPO has to be done directly on the basis of prospectus. So what was the definition of prospectus? Any document which is described as prospectus, and it includes share prospectus, red herring prospectus, abridged prospectus, and any advertisement issued in lieu of prospectus. So all these kind of documents where you're giving information about the company, how the company was set up, what is the objectives, and what are the risk factors that it is going to take, how it is going to utilize the money, how much money it is planning to raise. All these details are given in the prospectus so that people can decide to take a decision whether I should take up shares in this company or not. Clear, everyone? What is the meaning of mutatis mutandis? Harsh, exit offer is given, that is correct. Mutatis mutandis का मतलब होता है कि as it is applicable. The provisions will be as it is applicable. The way they were applicable to other things, in the same way it will be applicable to that clause also. So mutatis mutandis means in a same way. Replicate करना मतलब अगर deemed provisions, तो जैसे हम बोलते the document now becomes a deemed prospectus, so all the provisions of section 26, 34, 35 will be mutatis mutandis. तो जैसे applicable होनी थी as it is इसको applicable हो जाएगी. It's a legal term. Now children, section 29 is a very simple section. It tells you that you need to have your shares in a dematerialized form. For having the shares in the say public companies anyways have to comply. If you're a listed company, you have to comply with SEBI guidelines also, and you need to have your shares in the demat form. What is the meaning of demat form? One is having a physical copy of the shares, another is electronic copy of the shares. But now since 2019 onwards, it has been made mandatory that all the companies, whether it is a public company, listed or unlisted, both the companies have to follow the SEBI rules. So listed companies are anyways in demat form, but other class of public companies also will issue the securities only in dematerialized form. And these provisions of dematerialization are actually given under Depositories Act. Yes, Derek, you can just write down in the chat box if you want to say something, because we don't have the option of allowing to unmute. It is directly given under the Depositories Act 1996. So what is this dematerialized? It says the promoters of every public company. So whenever you want to transfer your securities or whenever you want to make a public offer, you need to have your entire shareholdings. You have to give them. Yes, Priyanka, we just did section 28. I hope everyone is clear about section 28 now, because we are starting with section 29 now. Any doubts, Priyanka, you have in section 28? We just started with it. Okay, Derek, it's okay. Everybody is facing this challenge today. So let's ignore that things, whatever messages you're getting, just ignore it and concentrate on the studies, because, you know, when you try to ignore someone and then they just go away. So the best method is to concentrate on the studies and not to go into much of the details. All right. And anyone who is facing a chat problem, you can directly address your queries in the admin portal also. All of you know the way from which you log into the this thing for your sessions. You can go to the admin portal and you can directly address the all right. Ajit sir, are you trying to tell me something?
Ma'am, from now, no one can join the session again if you remove.
All right. All right. And I think we can tell the students that they can directly send the queries from the admin portal also. If somebody is not in Zoom, they can refer from there also, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Right, right. All right. Okay, Priyanka is saying, ma'am, Hindi में एक बारी section 28 बता दीजिए. तो okay, Priyanka, please listen carefully now. Once again, I'm going to repeat section 28. Section 28 बोलता है कि अगर किसी मेंबर ने अपने शेयर्स पब्लिक को बेचने हैं तो वो मेंबर कंपनी के पास जाते हैं. जैसे मेरे पास 100 शेयर्स है, सो हरलीन मैम ने अपने 100 में से 10 शेयर्स बेचने. So I want to sell my shares. Now I am offering to sell my shares in the market. बट मैं कंपनी के पास जाती हूँ कि कंपनी मैं आपकी मेंबर हूँ, शेयर होल्डर हूँ, प्लीज आप मेरे 10 शेयर्स मार्केट में बिकवाओ. So their section 28 will come into picture where the member promoters or directors are telling the company that please sell my shares to the public. And now company will give the money to the shareholders and shareholder will give their shares back. So आप वापस सेल कर रहे हो ताकि वो मार्केट में आपके सेल कर दे शेयर्स. इस चीज के लिए जो भी खर्चा कंपनी का करना पड़ेगा उसे कौन रीइंबर्स करेगा? That respective member will have to reimburse. And the document जिसके बेस पे आप ये ऑफर फॉर सेल इन सिक्योरिटीज कर रहे हो उसको डीम प्रोस्पेक्टस मान लिया जाता है. आई जस्ट नाउ एक्सप्लेन यू सम टाइम बैक दैट देयर आर 4 exceptions to which OFS is not applicable. मिनिमम सब्सक्रिप्शन एंड मिनिमम एप्लीकेशन वैल्यू ये हम सेक्शन 39 में पढ़ेंगे. And how to utilize the money, those provisions are not applicable. Why it is not applicable? Because when you actually company sell the securities to the market, then company gets the money and company makes their utilization statement कि हमने कंपनी ने जो पैसा रिसीव करा है वो कैसे यूज करना है. बट अभी ये पैसा किसका था? मेंबर का था या कंपनी का था? अगर मेंबर ने कंपनी को बोला कि मुझे शेयर होल्डर्स मेरे वापस शेयर्स में बेच दो, नो समृति, दैट्स व्हाई वी आर हैविंग दिस रिस्पेक्टिव OFS, okay, so that they can sell their shares in the market through the company. Clear? Tell me, children, who will reimburse the company? The members or the shareholders or the company? So all the expenditures have to be reimbursed by the company, by the member, because they are asking them, requesting them to sell the shares to the market. Now, whatever expenditure will be done by the company, they will be giving the expenditures reimbursement. And who is going to utilize this money? Company or the member? Who will utilize the money? Tell me, answer me, students. Very good, Priyanka. Members are going to utilize it. No, not company, members. Yes, Samriti, absolutely correct. Because member के पास ये पैसा जा रहा है. Garima, absolutely correct. And any other information which is not to be given will also be ignored. So this is your section 28. I hope everyone is clear for this. And these provisions of minimum subscription and application, मैंने आपको बहुत बारी बताया, हम section 39 में पढ़ेंगे इसके बारे में. अभी के लिए सिर्फ ये याद रखना है कि OFS को एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. ये होता क्या है हम सेक्शन 39 में कवर. क्लियर? नाउ वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट सेक्शन नंबर 29, दैट इज dematerialized. I was telling you how the forms have to be, or the shares have to be issued in dematerialized forms. The Depository Act has to be followed. Rule 9 tells you that the promoters of every company, when they are issuing the securities to the public, they have to do in demat form. पहले क्या होता था, हमारे पास physical share की copies भी आ जाती थी. Private company can still issue physical shares as well as demat. But public company, it has made mandatory for the public company that whenever you want to transfer your securities, it has to be done in the demat. Entire holding of convertible securities by the promoter has to be converted before making the offer of security. So before you want to sell your shares to the public, it has to be in the electronic form. And for making this demat form, Depository Acts and Regulatory Act has to be followed. So we call it DRS, that is Depository Registrar to Issue, and the share transfer agent who will be helping us in this entire procedure. So every UPC is unlisted public company. It is talking about, so unlisted public company will be issuing the securities. The facility has to be provided for the same. So any company which is making the buyback of securities, issuing the bonus shares, everything has to be done as per the Depository Act. From 2nd October 2018 onwards, it has been made compulsory that your existing shareholders have to be converted in demat. Now, they have simply given you a procedure how this facility of dematerialization has to be done. An application will be made to the depository and you will get an ISIN number, that is International Security Identification Number. And every unlisted public company will have to make the payment of the fees to the depository. The fees that they have to pay shall be 2 years of the fees. So if your fees is 1 crore for 1 year, then 2 crores of the fees has to be deposited deposited with the DRS, that is Depository Registrar to Issue and Share Transfer Agent. And here we have to comply with the SEBIs and other acts. This rule is not applicable to Nidhi and government companies and wholly owned subsidiary companies. So what you simply have to remember, Section 29 simply gives you a detailed ruling that whatever securities you're holding, they have to be in the dematerialized form. There is a procedure which has been set up. You will get an ISIN number, and this ISIN number, you have to deposit the fees. Every security holder has to be informed about this facility. They will have to deposit the fees to DRS, and the fees will be twice of the amount of the fees to be deposited, and all the regulations of SEBI and Depository Act need to be complied. Another important thing over here is that within 6 months, the details have to be given in PS6, and whosoever is not happy with this entire, facility. So the company is providing the facility. Look, you are my existing shareholder, Mr. A and B. Now you have to convert your shares into demat form, and this is your ISIN number. Please do all this procedure. Any shareholder who is not happy with this procedure, they can go to IEPF authority, that is Investor Protection Fund, where you can go and you can report it. So when you go to the chapter of dividend, there you will be understanding in detail about these authorities. You can take an action against the depositories, against the registrar to issue, and you can go to that directly to those authorities. All right. So now we have done section 29, also a new section. Now we are going to move. It is not given in too much detail, Priya. So simply you have to remember that the dematerialization is now important. Thank you, Priyanka, for writing. It's crystal clear. That's great. Saroj Kumar is asking, ma'am, Nidhi company means, beta, Nidhi company हमने CA foundation से पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, आपको पता होना चाहिए. Nidhi companies are the companies in which we have learned about how the companies, it's a mutual kind of societies that is set up. So Nidhi companies are for the mutual benefits. All the people of the Nidhi company will pool in their funds, and as and when there is a requirement, they can take out the money from those funds and utilize it. So these are a special category of government. Central government's approval has to be taken whenever you want to set up these Nidhi companies. All right. Now let's come to a very important section, that is section number 30, advertisement in lieu of prospectus. What is the meaning of this topic, advertisement, which is issued as a prospectus? So I told you, any kind of prospectus that you're giving is a kind of an ad that you're giving. What is the meaning of prospectus? Yes, you forgot to give me the definition of prospectus. I asked you, what is a prospectus, children? Quickly write down in the chat box, what do you understand by the word prospectus? Everyone has to write, even the students at the BOS portal, admin portal, they also have to write. Very good, Astha, Kevin, all your answers are coming. It's okay, Then Muzib, you can write down your queries here. Yes, Kevin, it's not given in detail over there. So it was just to give you an idea about the procedure that we follow. But simply what you have to learn in section 29 is that now the shares have to be held in demat form. That's it. Nothing more detailed is required. All that part of IEPF you will be covering in the chapter of dividend. Everyone has given the correct definition of prospectus. So excellent. So any kind of ad also that you're giving, that now the company is coming up, you're going to the public, where you specify the contents of the memorandum. Memorandum is a document. जब भी you are coming out with the prospectus की advertisement आती है, and this is included in the memorandum of the company, where you give the objective, where you give the liability. So there are different clauses. Put all these things in the advertisement in the newspaper, that this is the object clause of the company, this is the liability clause of the company, name of the signatories where it is given, this is the part of your capital clause, gives the capital structure of the company, who are the signatories and number of shares to be taken up by the signatories. If any kind of this advertisement is published, it is necessary to specify the contents of the memorandum of association regarding this. So whenever section 30 specifically talks about जब भी आप prospectus का advertisement करते हो, then you have to include these things in the memorandum of association of the company. Company का MOA आपको याद है ना? Company का एक MOA होता है, एक AOA होता है, एक prospectus होता है. Memorandum is the main charter document about which you have studied in detail in chapter number 2, incorporation of the companies. All right. And now here it is simply trying to tell you that any advertisement, whenever you're going to the public, then these 5 contents of the MOA you have to remember: object clause, लाइबिलिटी क्लॉज क्या बताती थी? लाइबिलिटी ऑफ द मेंबर्स. शेयर कैपिटल क्लॉज क्या बताती थी? अमाउंट ऑफ शेयर कैपिटल. शेयर कैपिटल से ही रिलेटेड है कितने सिग्नेटरीज ने शेयर्स लिए हैं एंड नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स जो उन्होंने लिए हैं, एंड लास्ट इज कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर क्या है कंपनी का. So all these things have to be included in the memorandum whenever you're coming up with the advertisement. Now let's see this question number 1. I think 1, 2 we have done. This one you have to do. Kia Limited decides to issue 1 lakh shares of the company. Company has published an advertisement of the prospectus. It wants to know the necessary contents of the memorandums to be specified. See, it has straightforward given you a question that now the company is advertising its memorandum. So when the word advertisement has been given, means here we are specifically applying section 30. What will be the contents of the memorandums? Quickly write down in the chat box. Objects, liabilities, name of the signatories, number of the signatories. Everybody has given the correct answer for the definition of prospectus, child. Not to worry. Derek, it's absolutely correct. Anup, Kumar, Rihanna, all of you have given the correct answers. Yes, Soumya, objects, liabilities, capital clause, name of the signatory. So as it is, section 30 has to be learned. So you can, when you have these kind of topics, you can simply have the abbreviations made, like O you can have over here, L you can have, and then you can have name of the signatures and number of shares is related points. So there's a point related to the shares, and there is the point related to C, that is capital clause. So object clause, liability clause, and capital clause ho gaya, and shares and signatories ka naam ho. All right, everyone is clear? Now these MCQs I'll be doing later because I have to start with shelf prospectus also. So these are the 4 types of prospectus, that is shelf prospectus, red herring prospectus, abridged prospectus, and game prospectus. Game prospectus we have already done, which talks about section number 25 in detail. We have discussed and we have revised also. Now we are going to start up the new prospectus, that is shelf prospectus. What is the meaning of the word shelf life? Have you ever noticed, children, whenever you go to bakery shops, there you ask them while buying those nice pastries, don't you ask them what is the shelf life of these pastries, because there's so much cream overloaded on that. So if the 3 days or 4 days is generally the shelf life. So it expires after that shelf life of that particular product. So similarly, any kind of product which has a shelf life, that means आप वहां पे गए, आपने पूछा भी इसकी shelf life क्या है, समझ आ रहा है आपको बात? So that is a kind of thing which has a part in prospectus also. There is a prospectus in which you have a shelf life of 1 year time period. Now the company wants to come up prospectus for more than one issues. उसको बार बार prospectus issue करना पड़ेगा. आप मुझे ये बताओ, when you learned section 26 with me, there were so many contents of prospectus. Remember the last class? It shall be dated, signed, all those regulations of SEBI, all the requirements of the Companies Act, SICARA Act, Securities Contract Regulation Act, everything needs to be compliant. Yes, Sejal and everyone, your answers are correct, children. So now I'm not looking into your answers, I'm directly explaining you the point. So shelf prospectus simply tries to tell you when a shareholder wants to come up with the securities, when the company wants to issue the shares again and again. So they find it very difficult that again we'll be issuing a prospectus, we'll be giving them entire contents of section 26, an expert will be appointed. Who is an expert? Remember the expert who is not involved in the promoting and formation of the company, and he should not have withdrawn his consent, and he has given his consent in writing. All these information we have discussed in the contents of prospectus. So now when I am a company, I know that I have to come for the multiple issues. Yes, expert should be an independent party. Very good, Harsh. So when I know that I have to be coming up with the multiple issues, then it becomes very difficult to issue prospectus again and again. Excellent definition, Deepika. CA, CS, engineer, value cost accountant, and any other person who is holding the certificate of practice in hand is also known as an expert. That's great. So that's why companies have thought that instead of issuing the prospectus again and again, I am going to come up with the shelf prospectus. And this shelf prospectus has a life of 1 year time period. Now the company can have multiple issues during that 1 year period whenever it wants to come up, and it wants the shareholders to subscribe to its securities. So it is a prospectus in which the securities are included and more than one issue again and again you can have. So there is no need to issue the fresh prospectus every time. Say, for example, on 1st February 2025, I have come up with a shelf prospectus. I have kept that prospectus in my shelf. Anyone who wants to invest in my companies can go through the details. They can understand how the prospectus brochure is made, what are the details of the company, and they can take their investment decision. Now, say after 3 months, again the company wants to come up with a fresh issue. They're again in need of money. Multiple times they're requiring money. Will the company issue a new prospectus again? The answer is no. So it can have the multiple issues during the year, but only for 1 year. 1st February 2025 से लेकर वो 1st February 2026 तक ही उसकी वैलिडिटी है. उसके बाद फिर हमें फ्रेश प्रोस्पेक्टस इशू करना पड़ेगा. But now the interesting part of the story comes that, ma'am, when you told us that on 1st February 2025, the company has come up with a share prospectus. They have opened up a prospectus and we have taken up the shares in the company. I took the shares, B took shares, C took shares, all of us have taken the shares. Now this company is again in need of money. After 3 months, 1st May, it again comes up and it says, I need money from the public. So now, children, tell me one very interesting thing. During this period, February, March, April, May, 3-4 months, do you think company's financial position has changed? Don't you think some more loan has been taken by the company? Some security would have been given on the assets, or the company has earned more money, the revenue have been earned, liabilities have moved on. Things would have changed, right? So don't you think that the investors needs to be shown the changes in the financial position of the company? And these changes that have taken place during these, yes, a lot of transactions, absolutely. All of you have written correct. So these changes needs to be intimated to the potential investors through a document that is known as information memorandum. So whenever the company comes up with a shelf prospectus, तो पहली बारी तो वो shelf prospectus दे देगी जिसकी validity है 1 year time. But every time the company wants to come up with the subsequent issue, then it will have to issue an information memorandum showing the changes that has taken place in the financial position of the company. And 1 month prior to the second and subsequent offer, these changes, this information memorandum will be coming, which is showing the changes in the financial position and other charges that have been created. So information memorandum has to be issued 1 month prior to the every subsequent issue. So if I am coming on the subsequent issue on 1st May 2025, so at least before 1st April 2025, I should have come up with the information memorandum, should have been filed with the ROC showing the details that this is the changes that has taken place in my financial system. And now I want to make a subsequent offer. Whosoever are the shareholders, they should be given a chance to analyze my document of information memorandum. And now what happens is this shelf prospectus along with the information memorandum shall deem to be the prospectus. So it says it is a very convenient method for the company which is regularly making the issue of securities. Company will not issue fresh prospectus every time. They will file shelf prospectus with the registrar at the time of first offer. So I was offering on 1st February 2025. That time I would have filed. It has a shelf life and is always available for the public to view. What is the validity period? 1 year, and it starts from the date of opening of the first offer. So it was 1st February it started. It will end at 1st February 2026. Do I need a subsequent prospectus for every subsequent offers? Tell me, children. My shelf prospectus is valid for 1 year. During that 1 year period, do I need to issue the prospectus again? No, ma'am. What do I need to file? I need to file information memorandum, that is inform number PS2, 1 month prior to every fresh offer. Information memorandum में क्या क्या दिया जाएगा? All the material facts regarding number 1, changes in the financial position, about the current and previous issue, whatever changes have taken place between the first issue and now the issue that have come up, and also the charges created. Whatever the charges have been created against the assets, they will also be informed. Now, this is very important part of section 31. Any applicant who has given its subscription money shall be intimated. अब एक सब्सक्राइबर था मिस्टर ए, उसने क्या करा, जब उसने देखा कंपनी का शेयर प्रोस्पेक्टस आया, There was a company, PQR Limited. It has come up with the shelf prospectus. Mr. A took up 10 shares in this company and he has made the payment for the subsequent offer also. उसने पहले ही अपना ज्यादा पैसा दे दिया. First of all, the company needs to send the information. Now the company is coming up with the second issue. It has to send the document intimating the financial position changes to Mr. A. Can we give a right to Mr. A to withdraw his application? अगर Mr. A को लगा कि कंपनी की फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन तो बड़ी खराब हो गई है और मैंने तो कंपनी को पहले ही पैसा एडवांस मनी दे दिया होगा. You understand advance money where the subscriber has already given the advance money before the subsequent offer has come. He has already given the money. So now what will happen? He has already given the advance money. He has already taken up the shares in the company and company has come up with the second issue. Now they have to submit this document to Mr. A, showing him the financial positions, whatever changes has been made in the company. And if Mr. A is not happy seeing the financial position, can he withdraw his application? The answer is yes, ma'am. So what about the application money that he has already deposited? Don't you think that now company will have to refund that application money? So now the company will refund within 15 days of the advance money given for the second issue also. Since Mr. A is not happy, he can ask for the withdrawal of his application. He will ask for the refund. Company will have to refund the money within 15 days of coming of the second issue. Information memorandum is also deemed to be part of prospectus. So the last line says when SP plus IM are together known as DP. What is DP? Deemed prospectus. Deemed prospectus. Clear? So quickly let's have a recap of shelf prospectus. Advance money or whole amount. Yes, Bhumika, whole of the amount has to be refunded. I have given you advance money. Obviously, I'm withdrawing the application. Whole of the money needs to be refunded within 15 days time. So there are 3 important dates to be learned in shelf prospectus. Let's quickly make the notes. Shelf prospectus is issued for a period of, jaldi answer karte jao. 1 year. Validity is 1 year. Before coming for subsequent issue, what do we need to file with ROC? IM needs to be sent to the applicants. Applicant remitting the subscription money, what do we need to send them? IM. What is IM? Information memorandum. What is the time period for information memorandum? 1 month prior to the issue. And what is the third date? Refund of the application money. If I'm the dissenting shareholder, I'm not happy with your information memorandum saying the financial position. Within how many days my refund of money will come? Within 15 days, my money shall be refunded. And what is the fourth point of the notes? SP plus IM is equal to deemed prospectus. इसको deemed prospectus मान लिया जाएगा shelf prospectus के साथ जब भी ये आता है. Is that clear, everyone? What is the meaning of charges created against the assets? Can anyone explain me? There is a term written in the study material for the charges that have been created. So if you have taken loan from the banks, if you have taken up loans from the banks, then you need to give certain mortgage of your assets. That is known as charge created. So when we do chapter number 6, 3 is prospectus, 4 share capital, 5 deposit, 6 registration of charges. There you will understand in detail what is the meaning of the word charge. Everyone is clear? आगे चले? All right. Now there is an interesting question related to section 31, which I will be giving you to solve. But let me just first give you an introduction about red herring prospectus. Now we are going to start with the second topic, that is red herring prospectus. One we have completed, shelf prospectus. Second, okay. Thank you, Samriti, for writing. It's absolutely clear. Can I not apply shell prospectus and PAS full form? Wow. Anubhav is asking full form of PAS. कौन बताएगा जल्दी से? Anubhav, what is the name of the chapter? I told you day one. All the forms are the abbreviations of the name of the chapter. So I'm going to, okay, you got it now. So prospectus and allotment of securities. Very good, Priyanka. So PAS, two form has to be issued and I'm going to show you that form also. Do you want to see the form first? You want to see the form? Okay, let me show you that form. So all these forms are there on the MCA website. I keep downloading it for all of your help. So this is how form PAS2 looks like. Let me just widen it more. This is known as information memorandum, PS2. Can you see? I feel so happy reading what we are studying about on the government document that's written. Section 31 of the Companies Act and Rule 10 of Prospectus and Allotment of Securities. So this is your information memorandum. Refer instruction kit for filling the details. So this is your section 31, subsection 2, that is shell prospectus. Company has come up with the shell prospectus. Now, whenever the company wants to come up with a subsequent issue, they will have to show this IM document has to be given to the subscribers. So this is a document which can be directly downloaded from the MCA website. This form has to be given. These are the SIN number, name of the company, address, all the details about the shell prospectus, what was the reference detail, when did you come out. See total number of securities offered, number of securities allotted to the present offer, कितने लोगों ने securities ली हैं, and number of securities offered at the present offer mean कितने security holders उस time तक हैं आपके, वो भी आपको बताना है. After that, you have to show the types of securities. What are the types? If I'm issuing debentures, do I need to issue prospectus? If I'm issuing debentures to the public, do I need to issue the no, ma'am? Priyanka says no, ma'am. Are you really serious? Bonds, debentures? We don't need Bhumika. Very good. Rajveer Ray, very good. Why? Why do you say yes? Because definition of security. See, एक ही चीज रिवाइज नहीं करी और उसमें गड़बड़ कर दिया आपने. What was the definition of securities? Securities include stocks, shares, debentures, bonds issued. Remember? So debentures also include shell prospectus. Okay, because it is covered in the definition of securities. So here you will write what type of securities, whether it is a share, debenture, scrips, whatever it is. Date-wise charges of the asset. This is the important thing that I want to show. Number of charges created and particulars of the charges created. कौन से asset के against कितना charge create हुआ है, कितने charge holder है, किस बैंक को आपने वो asset दिया, all these details. Changes in the financial position. Pre-allotment, post-allotment. पहले क्या क्या financial position थी, अब post-allotment क्या क्या financial position हमारी change हो रही है, कितने debts बढ़ रहे हैं, reserves and surpluses क्या है. Changes in the share capital, capitalization statement, reserves, and all these things. This is again a basic document, which once when they're filing, you don't have to learn the contents of the PS2 form, but since we are studying about it, so it's better to have a fair idea about what all is there included. Changes in the total turnover of the major industry segment, legal proceedings, any. So all these are the kind of details which the company has to give. So you enjoyed watching PS2 form? Got a fair idea about what we are talking about. So when we are studying a similar kind of topic and we have a practical knowledge along with that, so that makes sense because after becoming chartered accountants, you will be actually dealing in all these kind of things. Okay. Can I not apply for shelf prospectus after first issue? Anubhav, your doubt is not clear. Shelf prospectus का मतलब होता है कि first issue के time पे ही आ रहा है. तो जब आपने ऑफर करनी है सिक्योरिटीज तो आपने एक साल के लिए शेल्फ प्रोस्पेक्टस निकाल दिया rather than बार बार प्रोस्पेक्टस इशू करने के लिए. Okay, now let's do a very important topic, that is section 32. I will just give you a small briefing and then we will take a break and in detail we will discuss from the study. रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस का मतलब ये होता है which is not having complete particulars related to the quantum of securities and the price of securities. Now, I am a company, I have decided to raise share capital of 10 lakh rupees. And I have come up with the prospectus requiring, inviting the public to subscribe for the securities dash number of shares at the rate dash price include comprising of the total share capital of rupees 10 lakh. Now, this kind of prospectus in which the number of shares is not given and the price per share is not given, but the total quantity of the share capital is given, is known as red herring prospectus. This is the most common method used by the companies for evaluating the potential investors, the potential market, doing a market analysis and seeing how many people are actually interested in taking up the shares in a company. And once we get the subscription, seeing the financial data, all the analysis will be done. Shareholders will come and see that, okay, red herring prospectus, it is a detailed prospectus only. जैसे एक prospectus normal आता है, उसी को ही बोलते हैं red herring prospectus. बस सिर्फ ये है कि इसमें आपकी number of shares and price money अभी given नहीं होता है. It is not given. And 3 days prior to the subscription list, 3 days before the offer has been come, you have to file this RHP with the registrar. It has same obligations as a prospectus. The only thing is that what is the exact meaning of this prospectus? I don't know what is my prize money. So I told the company that I don't know the number of shares. I don't know the per price कितने लोग मेरे को सब्सक्राइब करेंगे, but मुझे ये पता है कि is equal to 10 lakh शेयर कैपिटल मैंने रेज करनी है पब्लिक से, रुपीज 10 lakh. Okay. Now, what will happen? Investors will read my prospectus. Prospectus contain all the financial position data, my share capital, balance sheet, assets, liabilities, P&L, कितना खर्चा है, कैसे बनी है, कंपनी करती क्या है, ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है, how they're going to treat the money of the investors. Every short detail is given. Every other detail is given in my prospectus. Now, once I have this prospectus in detail in my hand, I am a shareholder. I will take a decision whether I want to invest in this company or I don't want to invest. And when we decide about investing, this is known as book building method. There is a method of determining the price per share. A range is basically given to the shareholders. Let's try to understand hota keh raha hai hearing prospectus. So this is again technical information which I'm sharing with you. It's not part of your study material learning part, but yes, it's an additional knowledge how you fix the price in the red herring prospectus. So say for example, there is a band range of 110 to 250 rupees. So we have decided that this is the band range is given that I am going to fix my share price somewhere between 110 to 250 price. Now bids will be invited. Somebody will subscribe for 113, somebody will subscribe for 116, somebody is subscribing for 216, whatever is the money between this range. People are subscribing to the securities. So like this, whatever we get the maximum amount at a particular price, say for example, let's take a figure. 190 was the price on which we got the maximum allotment of securities happened. Now this 190 share per price will be taken. So I have my 10 lakh shares. So these 10 lakh shares will be divided with the prize money of 190 and whatever the number of shares will come. That will be my number of shares into 190. The prize money is equal to 10 lakh share capital. And now this will be my full-fledged final prospectus. सो हिंदी में रेड हेरिंग का मतलब ये होता है कि कंपनी को ना पता नहीं है कि कितने लोग मेरी कंपनी में शेयर्स लेंगे, कितने इन्वेस्टर्स मेरी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. सो एक वो रेंज सेट कर देती है कि ठीक है, हम एक प्राइस मनी हमें नहीं पता है, हम टोटल शेयर कैपिटल लेकर आ रहे हैं. अगर आपको हमारी कंपनी अच्छी लग रही है तो आप इसमें बता दो कितने इन्वेस्टर्स हैं. जब वो मार्केट एनालिसिस करती है कंपनी, उसको पता लग जाता है भी इतने इन्वेस्टर्स इतने बैंड प्राइस पे हमारे शेयर्स ले रहे हैं, उसके बेस पे प्राइस डिटरमिन होता है. दिस इज अ वेरी कॉमन मेथड ऑफ डिटरमिनिंग द प्राइस ऑफ द सिक्योरिटीज नोन एज बुक बिल्डिंग मेथड. And on the basis of that, once the price has been determined, now I know my total share capital divided by the price per share, I get my number of shares. Yes, that's why majority of companies are issuing red herring prospectus. Absolutely correct, Rajveer. Because whenever the companies are coming up with an IPO, initial public offer, they're not sure whether people are going to take up the shares in my company or not. So I give you the number of shares I'm allotting, so I'm not aware. So I try to determine the price on the basis of the analysis done by the company. So red herring prospectus means company which is proposing to make an offer will issue a red herring prospectus before the issue of prospectus. So red herring is always issued before issuing the final prospectus. And when does it needs to be filed with the registrar? At least 3 days prior to the subscription list, it needs to be filed. Does it have the same application? It has mutatis mutandis, the same application. All that section 26, everything is applicable to red herring prospectus. Also, all those penalties, misstatements will also be applicable. Everything is applicable to red herring prospectus. Now, upon the closing of the any variation that has been made between the prospectus and the red. Now, I have come up with the red herring prospectus and I have determined the price of 190. Now, I have freezed and I have finalized my final prospectus. Any variations का मतलब होता है changes जो red herring prospectus and final prospectus में कोई भी अगर मेरी variations हुई हैं, that needs to be highlighted as a variation in the prospectus. You will tell the company that these are the variations that have been made. Those variations have to be highlighted and filed with ROC and SIP. Prospectus, which is not RHP, stated there in total. And now what will happen? Now you will state the total share capital raised and closing price and other details which are not included in RHP. It shall be filed with the registrar and SIP. So 2 important points to remember. First of all, number 1 point is RHP होता है जिसमें number of shares and securities नहीं दी हुई है, price नहीं दिया हुआ. Number 2, it is always issued before issuing the prospectus. Number 3 point, how many days prior? 3 days prior. Number 4, it has same obligation and any variations which are being made, they have to be highlighted. And 5th point is all these variations, the total share capital and all these details which were not there, it has to be filed with ROC and with SIP. Clear? Everyone is clear about red herring prospectus? So RHP does not include important information. Company wants to raise money from the public. It has to file with ROC at least 3 days before opening the method. So company is trying to fix the price of the securities, and this is the common method known as book building method. RHP is sent to qualified institutional buyers. So QRBs होते हैं, merchant bankers जो experts होते हैं, जिनके पास quotations आते हैं for the shares of the company. So they are trying to fix the price of the share. And it is basically done in case of an IPO in order to find the price of the securities. So investors must read RHP before taking the shares in the company. It is mandatory. Children, tomorrow you will be becoming big, chartered accountants, and you will be earning so much money. So just make sure before buying any share in a company, it is very important that you read the main prospectus. Yes, always it is issued prior to the issue of prospectus. So RHP is the detailed document, 400 to 500 pages documents. Prospectus generally companies comes up. Some are having 200 pages, some are having 1500 pages. So depend upon the company to company कितनी उन्होंने detailed prospectus निकाला. So the third topic, which is coming up, section 33 tells you that sometimes if I just want to buy, 5,000 rupees, I want to invest in Reliance, or just 2,500 rupees, I want to invest in Infosys or any such companies. So I don't need to read so much details of 500, 400 pages. Then I need a short summary of the prospectus. फिर भी मुझे पता तो होना चाहिए ना कंपनी करती क्या, कंपनी की फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन क्या. उस केस में हम कौन सा prospectus पढ़ते हैं? Abridged prospectus. Okay. So Dhanush, the use of red herring prospectus is basically to determine the price money, the book building method. Companies को पता नहीं चलता है कि what is the price that they want to raise and what is the amount of the. Somebody is asking something, ma'am. Information memorandum. Yes, Soumya, it has to be filed with the ROC at least 1 month prior to the issue. You have to come up with it. All right. Derek, I can't see your query. You can just write it once again. So red herring prospectus, I'm going to do it in detail with you. I've just given you an overview. मैंने सिर्फ आपको एक picture दी है कि उसमें number of shares missing है and prize money missing है. Now let's take a small break. Just read from the study material. We are going to discuss each and every line from the study material related to red herring prospectus. Just go through what is shelf prospectus and section number 30. Okay. Good, Anubhav, I've now got it. So it's not done. We are in the process of the class. So, sir, we are just taking a small break here, Manish, sir. Welcome back, students. I hope you have gone through the study material content meanwhile. Let us just open the study material. Yes, we are going to do in detail about red herring prospectus. Now I'm going to tell you a very interesting short story in order to explain you the meaning of red herring prospectus. First, tell me till section number 31, everything is clear, right? So I hope you have done this illustration from the book Superfix Limited. Some of the members are offering a part of their holdings of the shares to the public in consultation with the directors with the company to call the action. So what is kind of this illustration? It is dealing with section 28, where you're offering the securities to the public, right? So section 21 में मैं आपको बता रही थी, only these things have to be remembered, that any shares of unlisted company has to be in dematerialized form, and dematerialized form has to be done as per the Depository Act and regulations. Simply Rule 9 and 9A has been given. Those extracts were directly from the Act, just to give you a briefing about how the unlisted public companies have to issue the securities. No need to learn it. It was just to tell you that all the procedural aspects have been given related to dematerialization under Rule 9. Section 30 is clear, 31 is clear. Everyone? Need of share prospectus, it remains valid. Okay, so my question to you out of section 31 is, that is it mandatory for every company to issue a share prospectus? Yes or no? Is it mandatory for every? No, ma'am. Very good. So only SEBI notifies which companies have to issue a shelf prospectus. So only the companies which have been notified by SEBI, only they are allowed. Generally, it is, companies which come up with the multiple issues. So they are only required to have this share prospectus. It is not mandatory, but generally banks or NBFCs ऐसे करती है because they need money again and again. So only SEBI notified companies, जिनको भी SEBI ने permission दी है, allow करे, वही companies share prospectus कर सकती हैं. So for the shell prospectus, in case of shell prospectus, do we need to come up with a subsequent issue? Do we need to issue the prospectus again? No, ma'am. What do we need to issue? We need to issue the IM, that is information memorandum. It shows all the material facts, changes in the financial section. So it is providing a safeguard for the advance of the money that has been given. And if you're not happy with the information memorandum, you refund the money within 15 days. Sabne learn kar liya yahan tak, and we have also seen PAS2 form. Everybody is clear till section number 31. So an applicant who made the application for allotment along with the advance money, he expresses his desire to withdraw his application. So let's try to understand this MCQ. You will refund the money at the discretion of board of directors. You will refund the money after deducting any charges, or you will refund all the money in 15 days, or will you refund all the money? Just read it carefully and tell me what is the correct answer. Which option is the correct answer? What do you think is the correct answer? C is the correct answer. Very good. Why? Because there is no information given, ma'am, under the act that we need to deduct any charges. Very good. Everyone has given the correct answer. So now, red herring prospectus, let's listen to a very interesting story I have to share with you. So there was Mr. A who goes with his friend Mr. B to check out a new model of car in the market. So which is your favorite car? Tell me in the chat box. Which car? Let's take example of Kia Seltos. I have recently started liking this car. Before it was Creta, my favorite. So now I like this car. So let's talk about this car. And A went to B that let's go and check out with the model of this new car. So if you're going to check out a model of new car, you want to buying it, how will you buy a car? You will simply go and buy a car and come back, or will you do certain survey? Tell me. Answer me in the chat box, children. How will you do a survey? You will go to different showrooms and you will try to check out the prices at the different showrooms. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely correct. Everyone has agreed to this. Excellent. Maruti Suzuki. Okay. Hyundai, Alto, i10. survey करेंगे, test drive भी करेंगे. Very nice, interesting answer. So everybody has now become. We'll make analysis. Excellent, Soumya. We'll make analysis. Why you'll make analysis? Because you want to Lamborghini. Okay, Sunil wants to buy Lamborghini. Oh, that's amazing. So everybody is buying the new car now, and we go to different showrooms and we try to check out the prices. And very well, we will do R&D. Okay, Priya says we'll do R&D. So very nice. How do you do this R&D? You go to the different showroom and you try to do the analysis and try to check the prices of the what example we have taken Kia. So Kia car we are buying. So we'll try to do the survey of different showrooms that what is the price money. Thank you so much. Derek says, ma'am, like this, when you talk, the session becomes so interactive. So that's great. And I'm happy that you enjoy. And that is how you understand it in a nice, good way also. All right. Thank you so much. So when you and check the prices of the car models, and then you make an analysis and you try to figure out, okay, this company is offering me a little better. This company has offered hospitality was good, discount given, something like that. Now, similarly, a company before coming out with an IPO tries to prepare a draft prospectus, just trying to try to do the analysis of the market कि लोग चाहते क्या है, क्या वो shares खरीदना चाहते हैं या नहीं. So similarly, the company comes up with an IPO and tries to give all the details of the company. Investor will analyze the data and financial information. Company will tell you who are the promoters of my company, how the company is going to be run, what will be the object clause, what are the business and operations, करती क्या company, company operate किस तरह से करेगी. क्या एक नाइकी जो शूज बनाती है और जो एडिडास शूज बनाती है उनका सेम पॉलिसी है. यू मस्ट हैव सीन सिमिलरली कार जो मॉडल है, क्या जिस तरह से ऑल्टो चल रही है, जिस तरह से मारुति चल रही है, क्या वो सेम मॉडल है. हर कंपनी का एक डिफरेंट बिजनेस ऑपरेटिंग मॉडल है, हर कंपनी का ऑब्जेक्टिव डिफरेंट है, प्रॉफिट्स डिफरेंट है, लायबिलिटी डिफरेंट. सो 400 to 500 पेजेस का इलेबोरेटिव प्रोस्पेक्टस कंपनी निकालेगी जो कि एक ड्राफ्ट प्रोस्पेक्टस हो. अब ये ड्राफ्ट क्यों है? क्योंकि मुझे नहीं पता कि कितने शेयर्स लोग मेरे लेंगे एंड किस प्राइस पे लेंगे. बट मुझे ये पता है कि एज अ कंपनी आई एम गोइंग टू रेज 10 लाख रुपीज और 1 crore ऑफ द कैपिटल और मे बी 10 crores ऑफ कैपिटल. आई वांट पब्लिक मनी टू बी इन्वेस्टेड इन माय shares. Public will buy the shares, but I'm not sure about what will be the purpose. They will tell you the purpose of the funds that they're raising, but they're not sure about the quantity and price. Now, first, this draft will be given to the ROC 3 days before it is issued to the public, and ROC will check that all the approvals from SEBI, ROC, stock exchange has been done. And once the approval has been done, once this comes out to the market, then qualified institutional buyers will step in. They are the merchant bankers. उनको रेट पता होता है कि शेयर प्राइस का किस तरह से रेट फिक्स करना है. जैसे मैंने आपको बैंड का एग्जांपल कि एक बैंड कंपनी हमने बता देती है एंड क्वालिफाइड इंस्टीट्यूशनल बायर्स जो बड़े बड़े बैंकर्स होते हैं, मर्चेंट बैंकर्स होते हैं, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर्स, दे विल ट्राई टू एनालाइज द मार्केट एंड दे विल टेल द कंपनी दैट दिस इज द बेस्ट प्राइस फॉर द शेयर दैट यू विल गेट. Now, after all the compliance of SEBI, ROC filing, stock exchange is done, price is determined. Now this RHS becomes a final prospectus. So basically, RHS prospectus ही होता है. Companies generally come up with the draft red herring prospectus, which is then finally converted into the final prospectus. What is the difference between the final and red herring prospectus is that any variations that have taken place should be highlighted and informed to the ROC and SEBI. So it says red herring prospectus does not include the quantum and price. It is the favorable market conditions. They will decide how the price has to be raised. 3 days prior to the issue, you have to file it. At least 3 days before opening the subscription, it has to be filed with the ROC. Any variations have to be highlighted. What happens on closing of the offer? Total prize money comes to be known. And now we will file it with the ROC and SEBI and tell them that this is the final prospectus. All the compliance of section 26, all the contents, details as it is that we have studied in lecture number 1 will be given over there. Book building method is actually a price discovery method. Company doesn't fix a particular price, instead gives a price range. मैंने आपको बताया एक price range दे देती है. Underwriter builds a book by accepting orders from funds manager indicating the number of the shares they desire and the price they're willing to pay. Now, this is a very detailed, elaborative information which is related to a stock market. And when I get queries on the chapter of prospectus, I find it so interesting that the students take so much interest in the market. They are reading, they are studying about it. But here in the chapter, we have to confine ourselves strictly related to the subject, to the topic, because stock market in itself is a very huge topic. I can go talking on and on about the topic, how the price range has to be fixed, what the underwriter is going to do. But we will talk about the underwriter when we go to section number 40. So here simply he's giving you that this underwriter will take the orders. There will be fund managers. They will decide who are the shareholders who are willing to pay the price and what is the price to be fixed out of that price. सबको समझ आ गया रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस? यस मैम और नो मैम? हरी अप. एवरीबडी इज नाउ क्लियर. सब सेक्शन 4 अनुभव. सब सेक्शन 4 ये बोलता है अनुभव कि जब आपका फाइनल प्राइस आ गया, once the closing of the offer has been done and we have decided that the total capital this much is to be raised, say for example 1 crore of the shares I am issuing, people have decided to pay rupees 100 per share. So 1 crore divided by rupees 100, number of shares jaldi calculate करके chat box में. 1 crore divided by 100, how many? 10 lakh or 1 lakh shares? Jaldi. 1 lakh shares. So now I have come to know the total capital that I am going to raise. This is my 1 lakh shares into 100 rupees, 1 crore. Now this variation, this was not there in RHS. This is there in the final prospectus. This is a variation. This has to be highlighted and this has to be filed with ROC and SEBI. All of the details which were not there have to be filed with ROC and SEBI. Clear? All right. Now, what is the concept of a bridged prospectus? Just before going to the break, I just told you one line that if I am investing in 2,000 rupees of Reliance share I'm buying, I will not be reading this entire RHS and 500 pages of prospectus. Why do I need to read it? I will just see the summary of the company, what the company is doing. अच्छा ये इतना business करती है, ठीक है, 2,000 रुपए लगाकर देख ले. बट कुछ तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा ना. तो मैं क्या पढ़ूंगी? अब्रिज्ड प्रोस्पेक्टस, जो कि एक मेमोरेंडम है जिसमें सेलिएंट फीचर्स दिए हुए हैं ऑफ द कंपनी एज स्पेसिफाइड बाय सेबी. Day 1, first definition, abridged prospectus. I told you we'll be doing it in chapter number 3. So abridged prospectus is a memorandum. Memorandum means a document which contains the salient features of the prospectus. What is the summary of the prospectus? Basically, it gives you a summary that this is my company, and detailed 1-pager or 2-pager is given that this is how the prospectus gives you the information. So basically, it is to cut the cost involved in publishing large number of prospectus with every share application form. And debenture, see, share or debenture application form. So what will happen? What is the need of a bridge prospectus? I am a shareholder. I want to buy shares in Reliance. So Reliance will give me a page of share application form. Along with the share application form, abridged prospectus will be stapled. They will give me a copy of abridged prospectus along with every share application form. लिख लो अपनी language में. Along with every share application or debenture application form, along with every share application or debenture application form, a copy of abridged prospectus is given. This abridged prospectus is the summary of the actual prospectus. This abridged prospectus is the summary of the actual prospectus. Which gives major details about the company which the shareholders or investors should be knowing. आगे लिख लो ब्रैकेट में, basically the material information about the company. Basically, it gives the material information about the company which the potential investors, which helps the potential investors to decide whether to invest in a company or not. All right. So to decide whether the potential investors should invest in the company or not. So it is basically an application form which has to be given along with the abridged prospectus. क्लियर हो गया सबको? सो इट इज जनरल जस्ट द शॉर्टर वर्जन ऑफ द मेन प्रोस्पेक्टस. बहुत सारी डिटेल्स फाइल होती हैं प्रोस्पेक्टस में, सो इट बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट टू रीड इट. सो कंपनी हैज टू फाइल दिस प्रोस्पेक्टस विद सेबी. दैट इज अ कॉपी ऑफ अब्रिज्ड प्रोस्पेक्टस. इट इज मैंडेटरी टू फाइल अब्रिज्ड प्रोस्पेक्टस. RHP is optional. Shelf prospectus only SEBI notified companies. Abridged prospectus is mandatory to go with every share application form. But there are three cases, exceptions where abridged prospectus is not applicable. कहते हैं इन जगहों पे abridged prospectus की जरूरत नहीं है. कहाँ पे? Where the application has been given to the underwriting agreement. Underwriting agreement, again, section number 40, underwriting commission of shares and debentures, may we will be understanding. So if the underwriter is kind of an issuing house, if you are giving the shares to them to sell them in the market, then you don't need to issue the abridged prospectus. For the shares and debentures which are not offered to the public, तो फिर कैसे ऑफर कर रहे हैं हम? If we are not offering to the public, then what are we doing? That means second case relates to private placement. Second case relates to private placement. So when you're doing a private placement, you don't need to issue the abridged prospectus. लिख लो इसको, अपने हाथों से लिखा हुआ कभी नहीं भूलता बेटा, तो लिख लिया करो. When ma'am is telling you important points, notes, keep writing down. When you are doing private placement, there is no need of abridged prospectus. And third point, when the offer is made to the existing members. When do you make the offer to the existing members, children? जल्दी से बताओ मुझे. Ma'am, in case of rights issue, in case of bonus shares. So my question to the class is, do you need a bridge prospectus when you're doing rights issue or bonus shares? No, ma'am. That time a bridge prospectus is not required. So RI and PS, rights issue and bonus shares. Third point कहता है bridge prospectus की जरूरत नहीं है. Second point कहता है private placement के time पे नहीं है. फर्स्ट पॉइंट कहता है अगर अंडरराइटिंग एग्रीमेंट के थ्रू अगर आप शेयर्स इशू कर रहे हो तब भी आपको अब्रिज्ड प्रोस्पेक्टस की जरूरत नहीं है. राइट टू रिसीव द प्रोस्पेक्टस. नाउ you are a shareholder, Mr. A, and you said that I have seen all the potential investor. You have seen the summary in the abridged prospectus. Now you have decided to invest in this company. Now this investor demands the copy of full prospectus. He says, okay, I am very much interested in your company. I want a copy of full prospectus. It has to be made available before closing the subscription list and the offer. So it is mandatory, subsection 2, which says that if the investor demands for the copy of full prospectus, then company has to provide the copy of full prospectus. Any default if company is making second penalty. First we did in the last topic, that is contents of prospectus. If you're not doing, then penalty was done. Second penalty, आज अपने penalty वाले notes पे लिख लेना. If the company defaults in compliance with section 33, that is abridged prospectus, 50,000 rupees for each default has to be charged. Means if the share application money, with every share application money which is going without abridged prospectus, 50,000 for each default. What is the meaning of this word? 50,000 rupees for each default. Suppose there were 8 share application forms to be given. Company did not give bridge prospectus along with 8 share application forms. What will be the amount of penalty? 50,000 for each default. 50,000 into 8. Yes, Samriti. It can be in both the forms, depending upon if you're taking a printout, it becomes a physical form. Copy has to be given. Excellent. 4 lakhs will be the penalty which the company will have to bear for this default. Clear? Understood? Now no doubts in RHP and abridged prospectus. Yes? Red herring prospectus is also clear to everyone. Abridged prospectus is also clear. तो जल्दी से मुझे 3 cases बता दो. What are the 3 cases in which abridged prospectus is not required? In the chat box right now. Very good. Rights and share bonus shares में, because they're already existing shareholders, they don't need to know about the company, right? They already know the company. And when you're doing private placement, anyways, you're not going for the public, then there is no need. In case of underwriter agreements, also the similar case happens because they're already having knowledge about the company. So they don't need to be given about the abridged prospectus. Is that clear, everyone? Now I'm going to give you one question to solve. Everyone is going to read question number 4 and very carefully you're going to answer this. All of you have given the correct answer. Rehana, Anandruti, Rajveer, Anubhav, Almas, Shailaja, very good. Soumya, I just explained the first point of exception relates to underwriter agreement. When we do section 40 in detail, I'll show you it is related to underwriter agreement. So see over here, we have your underwriters agreement. So when we will do this topic, this your stock exchange topic, underwriter commission, here we will discuss in detail, all right? As of now, I'm going to take your test. One important question everyone has to do, that is question number 4. Let me see the students and the admin portal also, what are they doing? Yes, Soumya, all the correct answers. Priyanka Sejal, Mausam Kumari, Priyanka Pandey, ma'am, I buy shares but previously had no knowledge but now know. Okay, thank you so much, Priyanka Pandey. I'm glad your knowledge has now increased. Julie, okay. Soumya, correct answers. Very good, children. All the students on the portal. Kevin. Yes, Kevin, that was correct answer. Good. Everyone, please read this question and try to answer me back. So you can see how what kind of question they have given. They have directly not given you section 31, but I have given you the choice also that they can directly either ask you about section 31 or they can give you like this, that he wants to raise the share capital in different stages over a certain period of time, does not want to issue the prospectus again and again. What will be the procedure to avoid repeated issues? So this is the provision that you will be writing. First of all, you will give the relevant provisions, that is share prospectus can be issued. It has to be filed as per the regulations of the ROC has to be followed. First offer of securities will indicate that the period will not exceed 1 year. For any subsequent offers, period of validity, no further prospectus is required. IM has to be issued. It shall be issued 1 month prior to the issue of the securities, prior to the issue of securities, and it should be showing all the material information. Therefore, Prakhar can follow the above provisions and issue a share prospectus. Was it a simple question? Agreed. So if you have revised well, if you have studied well, lengthy, it was lengthy, Anubhav. So yes, it was lengthy to write over here, but at least we have got a fair idea only with the practice. Yes, Samriti has written about the refund money also. That's great. We shoot for 1 year, 1 month. I am, अगर आप लिख देते तो basic idea आपको होना जरूरी. Good, Soumya. Great. Let me see if we can do 1 or 2 more questions before proceeding. Okay, try solving question number 5, all of you. Everyone has to read the question very carefully, question number 5, and should answer it. Yes, Priyanka, Julie, all your answers are correct. Sejal, good. Yes, Sejal, very good. The question itself has the answer if you've studied. So ABC is proposing to issue the debentures. Do you think there is any need of issue of prospectus if you're issuing debentures? So the hidden point was, which I have already explained you, that debentures are also part of securities. So examiner can ask you question related to this feasibility of having taken into account the concept of deemed prospectus. What will you do? So what was your correct answer? Within a period of 1 year to raise? Absolutely correct. Sejal has written, ma'am, does it deals with shell prospectus? Absolutely. It is a shell prospectus only. Very good, all of you. Priya is saying abridged prospectus. Why abridged prospectus? Abridged is a summary which you have to give, child, but the shell prospectus. And in lieu of the previous question also, I find this is a better summarized answer. So you should write your answers in this way, and it's more clear and elaborative. So you can take a picture of this, and this is a better way of presenting the answers. It gives more clarity when you write down points. Clear, everyone? Next question number 6. What do you understand by abridged prospectus? Under what circumstances abridged is not accompanied? And what are the penalties in case of default? So it is a straightforward question which talks about detailed section 33. Very good. Many of you, Derek, Priya, Anubhav, Simriti, many of you have directly written the answers. So that's great. That means you're learning. Excellent, Derek. Yes, Soumya, it is a summarized form, existing members, private placement, excellent Samriti, and default is 50,000 rupees. See how well you have learned. I can't believe that you have actually learned the provisions right now in the class also. So this is the effective way of studying. Julie, Priyanka, good. Children, 50,000 सबको याद हो गया. Rajveer Rai, good. So this is what the answer will be. You'll give the definition, 3 points, where it is not applicable, bona fide invitation to underwriters, not offered to the public, existing members only, and 50,000 will be the penalty for each default. You want to do more questions? But let me just complete the topic and then we will come back to more questions. Did you enjoy these questions, children? Does it help you to make you revise the concept and practice it? Yes, Shelja, very good. Silent features. Excellent. All right. So let's proceed ahead, children. Now, what is the meaning of misstatement in a prospectus? Can you have any misstatement in the prospectus? What is the meaning of the word misstatement? Thank you, Rajbir, Ray, and Soumya. I'm glad you enjoy those question answers. Error, fraud. Okay, nice, Anubhav. If there is any kind of error. So what is the golden rule of the prospectus? The golden rule of prospectus says that it should always give a true and fair picture regarding the company's position in the prospectus. That means you can never have any untrue statement. Untrue का मतलब क्या होता है? जो true नहीं है, वो क्या होगी? False. So अगर legal language use करिए तो आप English में समझ लो ना क्या कह रहे हैं. वो अनट्रू वर्ड कह रहे हैं, आप समझ जाओ कि फॉल्स नहीं होनी चाहिए. इट शैल कंटेन एनी अनट्रू स्टेटमेंट, मतलब जो फॉल्स है, जो झूठी है. मैंने कहा मेरा कंपनी 80,000 रुपीज डिविडेंड दे रहा है, बट एक्चुअली में कंपनी 8,000 रुपीज दे रहा है, तो मैंने अनट्रू स्टेटमेंट कही है, मैंने फॉल्स बोली. सप्रेस एनी मटेरियल इंफॉर्मेशन. सप्रेस का मतलब होता है छुपाना, कंसील करना, बताना नहीं, सप्रेस कर देना, दबा देना. और ओमिट कर देना, भूल कर नहीं बताना, फेल्स टू गिव. ओमिट का मतलब होता है फेल हो गया, बताया नहीं. एंड सप्रेस का मतलब होता है इंफॉर्मेशन को हाइड करना, छुपा देना. So in basic English, if we try to understand, false is also wrong, hiding is also wrong, and trying to fail to omit is also wrong. So all these three are kind of a fraud that we are doing. About the material information, children, the word material is very, very important. आप सपोज दिल्ली में रहते हो एंड आपका हाउस नंबर है 367 and you're staying in Delhi in Rajouri Garden. Let's take the name of the place, Rajouri Garden, and this is your house number, and you have to tell certain block or sector also. Let's say 367 was the house number, sector 12, and then this is the specified area, that is Rajouri Garden. Now, if you tell anyone that I'm staying in house number 367, and you don't tell him the sector and you simply tells that this is the area. Do you think some material information is missing? अरे मुझे sector ही नहीं बताया तो how will I find the house? If you have not given me the complete address, that means something material is missing. I will not be able to locate the correct location of the house. So this is known as material information. But you told me that this is 367, this is sector 12, this is Rajouri Garden, this is a place in Delhi, and there is a temple near my house. So that temple was actually not 100 meters away, it was 250 meters away. So then it's okay. That is not very immaterial information. भी आप बोलो कि आपने मुझे ये नहीं बताया कि इतनी पास है इतनी दूर है. एड्रेस तो सही था ना. एड्रेस ठीक नहीं है तो मटेरियल इन्फॉर्मेशन इज मिसिंग. समथिंग इंपॉर्टेंट जिससे आप घर लोकेट नहीं कर पा रहे. बट अगर कोई लोकेशन के साथ का लैंडमार्क बताया है और वो थोड़ी दूर है तो दैट मीन्स इट इज नॉट वेरी मटेरियल इन्फॉर्मेशन. कैन यू कनेक्ट? आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस थिंग? सो वर्ड मटेरियल इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कि उससे इन्वेस्टर को कुछ नुकसान हो रहा है या नहीं ये होना. क्योंकि सेक्शन 34-35 बहुत बड़ी पेनल्टी की बात करते हैं, लायबिलिटी आने वाली कंपनी के ऊपर. अगर कंपनी ने कुछ हेर फेर करा प्रोस्पेक्टस में, ट्रू एंड फेयर पिक्चर नहीं दिया, तो कंपनी विल बी गेट होल्ड ऑफ. 447 will get attracted if you do any kind of false statement, any kind of suppression of materials, any kind of omission made by you. Section 447 becomes applicable, which is a very harsh section, and it gives you a penalty along with a jail also. All the directors, promoters, and every other person who has authorized the prospectus will come under 447 if related to material information. What is the meaning of material information with respect to company? So a company gives in the prospectus that I have my registered office in Delhi and there are other branch offices also in other places. Now, if the company has told that I have registered office in Delhi and fails to tell that it has one more office in Chandigarh also and one is in Pune. So this is a very immaterial information. You cannot say that company ने हमें कुछ बताया नहीं. It is not very material. It is not affecting investors' decision. अगर आप किसी कंपनी में शेयर लेने जा रहे हो तो आपको इससे क्या मतलब है? कंपनी के ऑफिसेज एक और था और उसने नहीं बताया. 10 ऑफिसेज हैं बट एक ऑफिस की इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं. उससे आपका इन्वेस्टिंग डिसीजन नहीं ना इफेक्ट हो रहा. हाँ, कंपनी ने अपने प्रमोटर्स का नाम ही नहीं बताया. कंपनी के 5 प्रमोटर्स है, कंपनी ने सिर्फ 2 प्रमोटर्स का नाम लिखा. कंपनी का एक प्रमोटर फ्रॉड करता है. That promoter has been, convicted. So if you're doing such kind of false things, you're trying to give a false statement, material information से related गलत information दे रहे, then you will be get hold of. So whenever the intentional mistake has been made, section 34 comes in picture. What defense one can use? What is the meaning of defense? Defense का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the meaning of defense? Derek, you're still stuck with the British prospectus. That answer is absolutely correct. But now pay attention. We are doing another new topic, child. Raksha karna, okay, in protection of company. Yes. How you can take a defense means how you can try to protect yourself. The person has to prove, number one, that the information which is omitted or suppressed was immaterial, means it is not affecting the decision of investors. So here you can write down that example that I've given you, that if my registered office is in Delhi, I failed to tell you that I have 2 more offices in Chandigarh or Pune, then it is not a very material information. Second is, I had the reasons to believe that the information is true and correct. I have the reasons to believe, means I have the reasonable ground to believe that whatever information I have given in the prospectus is correct. Let's try to understand again with the help of an example. Now, I am a company, ABC Limited. I have issued a prospectus, and you all understand auditor is an important expert of my company who is giving me an expert opinion on my financial statements. So you all are going to be future auditors, chartered accountants. So I have taken an audit report, signed audit report from a chartered accountant in practice. So he has given the data related to my financial statements. So me as directors and promoters, if we have relied on that audit report, but if that audit report was only not correct, then at least I have a reason to escape. I can tell them that, look, we had the reasons to believe that whatever the auditors have said, it is correct, and we have relied on that. and we continue to retain this information true till the date of the issue of prospectus, then you can defend yourself. Then you can try to save yourself if such kind of information has been given. So there are two defense for protecting yourself from the criminal liability. One is section 34 deals with criminal liability. आपने क्राइम करा है अगर आप प्रोस्पेक्टस में आप इन्वेस्टर से पैसा ले रहे हो बेटा, you're giving the shares to them, you're coming up with the prospectus, they are trusting your company and you have given me the shares and you yourself, you're a fraudulent company, you're doing fraud with public's money. Law is not going to leave you, it is a crime. Section 34 में criminal liability, Section 35 civil liability की बात. Section 34 deals with criminal liability. All the promoters, directors and every other person will come under 447. But what defense they can use is that if the material information was not there, material information was very immaterial, it was not influencing the decision of the investors. And second is, if I had the reasons to believe that the information was true as per our knowledge. Clear? Now, when does Section 35 becomes applicable? Section 35 कहता है अगर किसी को कुछ नुकसान हुआ है उस मिसलीडिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस पे रिलाई करने से. If I am a shareholder, Mr. A, and I subscribe to the securities of ABC Limited and I have suffered a loss or damage, अगर मुझे कुछ नुकसान होगा तो Section 35 will come into a picture. But if you have given any immaterial statement in the prospectus which is not affecting my decision as an investor, and if I have not taken up any shares, I have not suffered any damage, Section 35 is not applicable. Punishment to the director, promoters, experts will be given only if the person who has suffered any loss or damage. Remember, Indian Contract Act damages chapter Hadley versus Baxendale, where only if you have suffered the damages, ordinary damages, special damages, याद है आपको? अगर आपने damages suffer करे थे, तभी वो Act Section 72 of Indian Contract Act was applicable. Otherwise, if you have not suffered any damages, then it was not applicable. So the burden has to be proved that yes, we have suffered any loss and damage. Then only the directors, promoters, and experts who have authorized the issue of prospectus, they will be held liable to compensate. But again, there is a defense over here. What kind of defense? If the director has withdrawn his consent to act as a director and prospectus was issued without his consent. So on 5th June, the prospectus was to be issued and director on 4th June has said that I am not giving the consent to this prospectus, I am not agreeing. अगर उसने लिखित में अपना कंसेंट विड्रॉ कर लिया था और प्रोस्पेक्टस उसके कंसेंट मतलब रजामंदी, अगर उसके कंसेंट के बिना इशू हो रहा है तो he will not be held liable. If director says that he was not aware of the facts and he withdrew his consent as when he came to know about the misleading statement by giving a public notice in newspaper. There was a director, he was traveling to US and the company has done his fake signatures and issued the prospectus in India. Now he wants to tell the world that I have not done anything wrong. He will give a public notice in newspaper that this prospectus, I'm not aware of the facts. He will have to give the burden of proof lies on him and he will tell them that I have withdrawn my consent. I'm not party to this misleading statement. He has to give a public notice in newspaper. Then he will not be held liable. Or they prove that we have relied on the expert statements. Expert was competent. He has given his written consent and he has not withdrawn his consent. Now, अब अगर मैंने कहा मैंने ऑडिट रिपोर्ट पे रिलाई करा, ये किस पे रिलाई कर रहे हैं? एक्सपर्ट स्टेटमेंट. कहीं पढ़ा था एक्सपर्ट स्टेटमेंट के बारे में? कौन सी होती है एक्सपर्ट स्टेटमेंट? वेयर इज द एक्सपर्ट स्टेटमेंट इंक्लूडेड? In the contents of the prospectus. Thank you so much. Priyanka Pandey is writing, ma'am, chapter 1 and chapter 3 is on my fingertips just because of you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Priyanka. This really makes my day. I'm glad. All right. Excellent. So like auditor's report, we have understood that this word of expert content was used in the contents of the prospectus. So there we are relying on the expert. Remember that he should not be engaged in the promotion or formation of the company. He has not withdrawn his consent. He has been. तो यहाँ पे वो कह रहे हैं कि अगर आपने rely करा है उसके consent पे, specifically you're relying on his consent, then it has to be proved directors will not be held liable. Whosoever is trying to protect himself has to prove that in order to escape the penalty. But if it is proved, very important point, but if it is proved that the prospectus was made with an intention to defraud the creditors, then he becomes personally liable. Personally liable means unlimited liability occur kar jayegi uski. If required, his house can also be sold because he becomes personal responsibility, means without any limitation. यहाँ पे लिख लो अपने हाथ से, means without any limitation on liability, he will get unlimited liability if any such intention was done to defraud the investors, means आप जानबूझकर ऐसे करें. Let me give you a very interesting example of DLF company. What happened once was that company tried to suppress the material facts. में से ये भी हो सकता है कि कुछ by mistake बताया नहीं. Company, let's take an example. ABC Limited was the company and it issued the prospectus, and at the time of IPO, when it filed the prospectus, it failed to give the name of one of the associate companies. सो कंपनी को ना अपनी सारी ग्रुप कंपनीज का कौन सी मेरी सब्सिडरी है, कौन सी एसोसिएटेड, रिमेंबर चैप्टर नंबर 1, एसोसिएट कंपनी, सब्सिडरी कंपनीज, जॉइंट वेंचर्स, दे हैव टू गिव द डिटेल्स अबाउट ऑल द ग्रुप कंपनीज व्हिच आर एसोसिएटेड विद देम. So their prospectus becomes misleading. You have an associate company with which you are having more than 20% of the share capital relationship and you're not including that name. So here the investors, they went to the court and they said that the company has tried to hide the facts. It is a misleading prospectus. The CFO shall be taken, action against the CFO should be taken. And yes, an action was taken. All the directors and CFOs were disqualified for 3 years. And because they have tried to hide the material facts, it was impacting the decision of the investors because you have not disclosed the name of the associate company. So if any company is trying to do such kind of faults, one is you're trying to do it intentionally. If you're not doing it intentionally, see now there can be no reason of escape ना. You have not included the name of group companies. पहले वाले में तो चलो immaterial information था, तो आपने बता दिया कि एड्रेस का इशू है या फिर थोड़ा बहुत नाम की स्पेलिंग गलत. जैसे राजकुमार कोई पर्सन है बट आपने राजकुमार को के को डबल कुमार में डबल ए ले लिया. Whatever the spelling mistakes, little bit spelling mistakes you have done. So you have taken RAAJ or it was instead RAJ. So this is not a very material information, the spelling mistake of the name of the director or promoter, unless this name relates to another big name, which you have intentionally tried to cheat. आपने अंबानी लिख दिया अपने डायरेक्टर का नाम, जबकि वो फ्रॉड कर रहे हो, आप गलत कर, एक्चुअली में वो नहीं है. So there can be another person of also name having the same name, but then you have to prove these things that this was not a material fact, this was an immaterial information. Second was where you are relying on the auditor's report, you have to give the reasons to believe. Section 24 will not get a track. But if you're suppressing facts, you're hiding facts, name of the subsidiary companies, group companies, associate companies बताना चाहिए, हमें पता होना चाहिए कि आपके related parties कौन है, so that we can take a better decision. So if such kind of things is done, 447 attractive. Clear हो गया? Section 34 and 35 about criminal and civil liability. Section 34 specifically talks about every person who is authorizing the issue of prospectus will be liable under 447. What is the defense? Immaterial and reasonable ground. Civil liability, every company director, proposed director, promoter and expert, 5 लोग liable हैं civil liability. उसमें जिसने भी prospectus को authorize करा था issue करने. Civil में company director, proposed director, promoter and everyone who has authorized, they will have to pay the compensation to the investors. 3 defenses, they have withdrawn their consent. He believed that it was given as per the consent of the expert and it was issued without his knowledge. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया वो USA में travel कर रहा है, उसके fake signatures लिए गए, so that is absolutely incorrect. That is not allowed. Now, what is the punishment for fraud? What is the penalty under section 447? 447 is very, very important. It says if you have tried to done any such kind of fraudulent things, then you will be held liable under section 447. Now you have to tell that whether this fraud involved the public interest or not. If the public In case the public interest is involved, now how you have to remember this fraud is first you have to remember the limits that have been set up for this fraud, children. So what is the limit? 1% of the turnover or rupees 10 lakhs, whichever is lower. Write it down in your notebooks. What is the limit? 1% of the turnover or rupees 10 lakhs, whichever is lower. Now, the two categories are if the fraud is above this limit, if the fraud is lower of this limit. If the fraud goes above this limit, then you have a jail of 6 months to 10 years and approximately 3 times of the amount involved will be the penalty. It says the limit is 1% of turnover or rupees 10 lakh rupees. Whichever is lower. इसका जो भी लोअर है, सपोज टर्नओवर था 1 करोड़, तो जल्दी से कैलकुलेट करो कितना होगा 1% of 1 crore. It will again amount to, right, just a second student, just a minute. Yes, student, there was some internet disturbance. I hope now I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm. All right. Oh my God, somebody is saying, ma'am, please give a break. I hope you're now able to listen to me, students. No more breaks. So, all right. So, if it says that lower of the figure, 10 lakhs or 1% of the turnover, whichever is less, if the amount involved is above this limit, then there will be a jail of 6 months to 10 years and the fine will be 3 months. Did you see? It is written and. But what is the difference between these 2 points? It says where the public interest is involved, there the fine will be same, but the jail will be 3 years to 10 years. So what is important is public interest is involved. 447 में वो कहते हैं कि public at large का interest अगर involved हो रहा है, फिर आपकी 3 to 10 years, जैसे मैंने आपको example दिया DLF कंपनी का, कि associate companies के name group companies का नहीं था, तो 3 years के लिए they were disqualified. So they can be taken to jail for 3 years. Up till 10 years की jail हो सकती है. Just imagine how harsh 447 penalties. So this is a limit that you have to remember, 10 lakhs or 1% of turnover. If you go above the limit, then 6 months to 10 years will be the jail and 3%, 3 times of the amount involved will be the fine. And if the public interest is involved, then 3 years and 10 years. If the fraud is below this limit, यहाँ पे है above the limit, आप सब लिखोगे अपने notes में. And if it is below the limit, no public interest is involved, then up to 5 years of the jail and 50 lakhs is the penalty, or both can happen. So where the limit is below, there the word or has been used. All right, everyone is clear about this? So this is your penalty under 447, which you children have to learn this penalty. It's very, very important penalty. Now let's do certain question answers. With a view to issue the shares to the general public, a prospectus containing the information was issued by a company. Mr. X received a copy of this prospectus from the company but did not apply for the allotment of any shares. The allotment of the shares to the general public was completed within the stipulated time. X bought 2,000 shares from the stock market, which fell sharply, and he sold the shares at a heavy loss. Now, Mr. X claims that the damages from the company because he has suffered loss, the prospectus was issued containing a false statement. So you have to tell what will be the X's claim for damages, whether it is justified or not. Okay, so X bought 2,000 shares. Now what will happen? He did not apply for the allotment of shares. So I told you children, one is your primary market, another is your secondary market. If I am not buying the shares from the primary market, I cannot hold the company liable. I have to purchase the shares from the primary market on the basis of prospectus, then only I can make the company liable. So it says prospectus की definition दोगे अगर आप ऐसा क्वेश्चन आता तो section 2 clause 70 says prospectus includes shelf, red herring and any other notice and circular which is issued inviting the subscription from the public. So a prospectus is a document which is used for inviting the shares from the public. There has no legal binding that the promoters will be liable if you have not purchased the securities. Has he purchased the securities? Yes, clearly written he did not apply for the allotment of security. So first of all, my question to the class is, has Mr. X purchased the share on the basis of prospectus? No, ma'am. He has not purchased. अनूप कुमार, पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट का मतलब होता है कि आपने कुछ मतलब पब्लिक के हक में गलत करा है, आपने लीगली कुछ ऐसा कर दिया जिसमें सारी पब्लिक एट लार्ज इन्वॉल्व, उसको उसके कंटेक्स्ट में होता है. बट यू डोंट हैव टू लर्न इन टू मच डिटेल. 447 दैट मच लाइन इज सफिशिएंट फॉर यू टू रिमेंबर दैट द पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट इज इन्वॉल्व्ड एंड इट इज नॉट. All right. Yes, everybody has given the correct answer. Rajveer, Shelja, Simriti, all of you have given the correct answer that no, ma'am, he will not be held liable because he has not purchased the shares on the basis of prospectus. And there is a leading case of Peak versus Gurney, which I am going to do with all of you from the study material now. So there is a very interesting case law which is written over here, Peak versus Gurney. So this is your misstatement at most good faith. It has to be there. These are all the points which we have read. These small landmark judgments which have been given, just go through a reading. And if you have any doubts in the next class, remind me, I will tell you the meaning of these case laws. Here I'm just going to do Peak versus Gurney with all of you. Where it is. Oh my God, have they omitted it from here? This is a very important leading case. This is here. So Gurney issued a fraudulent prospectus on behalf of the company, but no shares were purchased by Peak at that time. So Gurney is a director who is issuing a fraudulent prospectus, but Peak has not purchased the shares at that time. Several months afterward, Peak purchased 2,000 shares from the stock exchange. And he filed an action against the directors on the basis of prospectus that you have tried to cheat us. The directors were not held liable because the shares are not purchased on the basis of prospectus. So it simply tries to tell you that if you are buying the shares on the basis of misleading prospectus, then only the directors can be held liable. But if you are buying it, say for example, I am the investor, I have purchased the shares, Gurney issued a fraudulent prospectus and I purchased the share. I am Mr. X. So I have purchased the share. Anubhav is asking, ma'am, where is section 447 penalties and material? It is given in study material, children. I think it is given at the back of this chapter or somewhere. But it's exactly the same that I have told you. All right. Now, where were we? So I am Mr. X. I purchased the securities on the basis of stock market, and I did not file any case, although I know that the Gurney has issued fraudulent prospectus. Now you are another investor, Mr. Y, who purchased the securities from me at the stock market. आपने देखा कि मेरे पास shares है, मैंने आपको shares sell कर. So you are Mr. Y and you go and file a case against the Mr. Gurney that you have done wrong thing, you have issued a fraudulent prospectus. Can Mr. Y take an action against Gurney? Tell me. No. Why? Only Rajbir is answering. Shelja, Anubhav, ये दो तीन बच्चे आंसर कर रहे हैं. What about the students? Other students in the portal, Julie, Priyanka, all of those. Excellent. No is the correct answer. Why, children? Because you cannot take an action for against anyone if you have purchased the securities on the basis of stock market. Very good. Clear? So till here, your concepts are clear. We have done very important topics today, section 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. Oh my God, 6 important sections along with entire revision of your previous topics. We have also had a detailed revision of section 25, 28. So I hope everything is clear, children. So now I'm not going to move forward because I want to do certain practice questions. This we have already done. A bridge prospectus also we have done. Okay. So there is a test question for all of you. Take 2 minutes, read section 34 and 35, then read this question and try to solve it by yourself. Because if I take up descriptive questions from the book, you know the answers. Yes, Samriti, absolutely correct. Then only they will come into action. Yes, Soumya, 447 is also clear. You can still give it a reading. In the next class, I will explain you if you have any doubts. It's a first time information that we have done. You have to revise whatever we have discussed, child. And if you still have any doubts, we will take up in the next class. So I give you 2 minutes, read this topic for 34, 35 and this question. Yes, everyone has sent the answers. Hurry up, students. So absolutely correct. All those who have written detailed answers, directors will be liable if it has been intentionally held. So let's read the question once again carefully. Allotti brought the action against the director, saying that there is a false statement in the prospectus. Director said that the statements were prepared by the promoters and he relied on them. So what are your contentions? Promoters are also part of the company. They are the owners. So what will happen in this case? Directors will definitely be held liable for the false statements, because the person who is authorizing the issue of prospectus includes the directors also. So you cannot say promoter के ऊपर आप expert के ऊपर rely करते तब आप intention अपनी free कर सकते. The only situation where the director will not incur liability is no criminal liability will be held liable if he proves that the statement was immaterial and he has the grounds to believe that it was true. Here you are simply saying that you're relying on the promoter's decision. You will be held liable under section 34 if you're not able to prove. But 35 में क्या कहता है? 35 तो तब applicable होगा अगर किसी को कुछ नुकसान हुआ है. Having consented to become a director, if he has withdrawn his consent or the prospectus was issued without his knowledge, then he will not be liable. Therefore, the director cannot hide behind the excuse by relying on the promoters. He will be held liable for the misstatement in prospectus. So, children, most of you have written that he will not be liable because he's relying on the promoters. So, this is not a correct answer. You have to, here you have to understand what you have to write. So, कोई भी question अगर if you get related to misstatement in prospectus, you simply have to write the liabilities, what is given under section 34 and what is given under 35. You have to write about the points of defenses. You will not be liable for 34 if you prove that it was immaterial and you had reasonable grounds to believe, then you're not liable. 35 may, if the person has suffered any loss and damage on the basis of prospectus, then you're held liable. When not held liable, if you have withdrawn your consent, it was issued without your knowledge, or you're relying on the expert statement section 26 subsection 5, not about the promoter. Promoter तो खुद भी हिस्सा है ना, उसका कंपनी का ही तो हिस्सा है. Yes, Sunil, every director and other officer will be held liable. ठीक है, अनुभव, everybody. Yes, Priya, you will have to mention about the civil liability basics also. So I think for today, we have done too much information. We'll not be proceeding more because then it will be lots of homework for you. And I hope all your doubts have been nicely clarified and no more doubts. I hope you enjoyed the session and you will do your homework, children, because when the teacher is telling you, you understanding the examples, you enjoy doing it, but the learning part has to be done by you yourself. Okay? Samriddhi, proposed director is a person who is going to join your company as a director. Okay. Thank you, Anup Kumar. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And now please revise section 31 to 35 nicely, thoroughly, do it nicely from your study material. Each and every line you will read. You will read all the case laws and come up with your doubts if you have. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. And now we have the next session on Wednesday. And you can ask your doubts at that time. All right. Thank you, students on the portal also. I have read all your messages. Thank you, children. All right. Fine, students. So we are done with the topic for today. Yes, sir, it's complete. All right. Thank you.